Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? It's your boy Main here. Back with another episode of the Order Book. I hope everyone's doing good today. We got a lot to discuss today. The S&P, new highs, new all-time highs. Bitcoin still trading at $63,000. Everyone says the market's doing great. Really, there's only kind of one sector that's been doing well. It's this kind of AI memory semiconductor sector. Everything else, not really doing that great or not really doing much at all. Bitcoin's still down like 40% plus off of all-time high, while the S&P pushes to new highs. And Michael Burry, the guy who shorted the 2008 financial crisis, is short basically the only actual market that seems to be going up. So of all the markets to short, he's short the one that seems to be continuing to push higher and higher. Some of the stuff that Leopold got liquidated on up massively since he had to sell to Citadel. Lots of stuff to discuss. It's going to be a very good episode, so I hope everyone's doing great. We're, as always, going to start with the charts. We got the man Cody in the chat. Monitoring for chart requests. We're going to look at charts that we covered last time and update those, see how those are doing, as well as take new chart requests, of course. So if you got some questions in general, trading, life, business, relationships, otherwise, let me know in the chat. Cody will make sure those get in front of me. And yeah, we're going to get into it. It's going to be a very good episode. I'm super stoked. So what's up, YouTube chat? What's going on, everyone over on YouTube? What's up, everyone over on Kick? Everyone over on Twitter? The dad hat. We like the dad hat. We like the dad hat. Okay. I don't hate that. You know, the quickest way to my heart is compliments. It's compliments. So please keep those coming. So as always, let's start with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin not really doing a whole lot, over the past little while here. I don't need to rehash my high time frame view and thesis on crypto. I think I've done that ad nauseum at this point. And so if you don't know what my view is on crypto high time frame, go watch any of the last dozen streams where I cover it. So let's just really focus on the short term here. So we're in a very tight range. Like we're in this larger down leg here. We're in this larger down leg here on the higher time frame from here to here. But really, as you zoom in, I mean, we're in this range right here, right? So if I just delete all that, we're in a range from here to here right now. And we have been in this range since June. So for all the people telling you that you're missing the bull run and all these things are happening, most coins are at or very close to where they were trading in June. Some are even lower, okay? Bitcoin, the main coin on the market, is up less than 10% since where it was at the beginning of this range. Now, obviously, the argument I think many people are making is the bottom is a range, and I completely agree. So are we here? Are we in this range here right now? Is this where Bitcoin is? And it's just going to kind of continue to grind and ebb and flow within this range before eventually breaking out. Even if we are here right now, if this is the range that we're currently in, right? This was a long-term range that then eventually broke out when it bottomed in Q4 and it broke out, in January. The counter argument is we're in this range over here, which was a range that occurred quite similarly in June, rallied up in June into July, bit of a pullback to start August, and then ended up trading lower into September, October, before ultimately bottoming in Q4. So we've talked about this a ton. Like, are we here or are we already down here, right? And it doesn't in terms of like long-term spot buying on Bitcoin and other things that you may like, there's not a ton of difference between here and here. Down here, we could absolutely get better prices. But if you accumulated stuff here, you're still very happy with the end result once the market eventually broke structure and turned around. So that's kind of still what we're watching. And if you're like, I don't know what to do, I don't know who to believe, first of all, trust your own analysis. It's your money that you're risking at the end of the day. But ultimately, if you think that the bottom's in or not, you can accumulate here and have dry powder if we do go lower to buy here. If we do go lower, great. You have more money available to buy at cheaper prices, bringing your average price down. If you bought at 10 and then we go down to 8 here, and you bought some here and some here, your average is going to be 9, right? And that's fine. What you don't want to do is blow your entire load here. And then if we do make another low, you end up puking, right? You want to be prepared for potential downside. If there is another leg lower, I think you want to be prepared for that. If you are already accumulating, at the very least, you should have some dry powder so you can buy lower. And so you also don't end up puking this, being like, oh shit, it went down, we're fucked. And then you end up puking at the bottom. And if you plan on buying down here, you have to be prepared that there might not be another down leg. And if that's the case, you need to have some accumulation occur here. And then, of course, be ready for when the market structure shift does occur to buy the rest. So just have a plan. That's all you really have to do. If you think the bottom's in, you should be accumulating Bitcoin right now and looking at other stuff to accumulate. If you don't think the bottom's in, you could start accumulating here, but just make sure you have some dry powder for lower. And again, if you are already a bottoms in kind of person, I still think it makes sense. It behooves you, here's your word of the day, to have some money in case we do get lower. I thought Bitcoin might go to 10K here, right? It didn't. So that money that was sitting here, I was able to add it here. So all it takes is a little bit of planning. So then when shit actually starts going, you're prepared and you can execute, because that's what the most important thing is. You have to have the ability to execute when the time comes. And when you have a plan and you know exactly what you're expecting, when things start to go in motion, you're prepared and you can act accordingly. If you have no plan, you run the risk of reacting to the market. You always want to be imposing your will on the market. I want to buy where I want to buy for the reasons I want to buy. You don't want the market to dictate your plan for you. Have the plan, react accordingly. Don't have no plan and then react emotionally and out of impulse and end up fucking yourself over. So really, we're in this tiny little range here for the last June, July. It's already middle of August now. It's basically 2027. It's basically 2027. So you better figure it out. You better figure it out. You're going to close your eyes. You're going to open them. It's going to be 2040. And then it's over. You know, it's over. You're in the permanent underclass. You're a proletariat. You're a serf. You're living in like some massive single condo building, you know, built by the SpaceX, Tesla, Amazon, Alphabet, Meta conglomerate. And you're done, dude. You didn't make it into the Citadel. So, you know, don't fuck this up, dude. Don't fuck this up. I'm obviously kidding. Only sorta. So I don't think you've missed anything. Even if the bottom's in, okay, we're 10% off the bottom. You know what I mean? You have not missed anything, regardless of what you see online. So a lot of people online who are telling you that you've missed it, the bottom's in, and everyone's bearish and the bottom's in. Great. If the bottom's in, you can buy right now at the same price that people could buy 2.5 months ago. So have you really missed anything? The only thing that, you know, is potentially cooking that maybe you're not involved in is on-chain. But like, if you look at any of these on-chain runners that are occurring, like none of them have any staying power. Okay, maybe there's some growth happening on-chain, some money moving on-chain, but most of those charts last like a week. Right? They last like a week, maybe more. But I really don't think you've missed much yet, unless you're like a trencher and you're like, oh my God, I missed all the runners and whatever. But I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a deal yet. Like even, you know, the greatest on-chain coin of all time, according to the internet, has not moved in a month. Right? Like this thing hasn't moved in a month. Now, could this just be a massive period of accumulation? Sure. I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen with Ansem Coin here, but I don't think you guys have missed really anything. So, you know, yeah, Robinhood coins are cooking maybe. I mean, we did fucking, you know, we kind of sniped a little CashCat setup here. Not a little bad, but yeah. So we're still in this same range. I don't think anyone needs to worry. So what are we looking at for trades? I've marked out these two areas, and one or both of these are going to get tagged, the order of which I don't know. So we've looked at these relatively equal highs for some time, and then we kind of have these, you know, lows here. We have some demand down here, and we have supply up here. So we're kind of just pinned between these two zones. Haven't tagged either of them. Remember, that's your range. So this is just the range extreme at the low. This is just the range extreme at the high. I talked about this kind of, you know, trend line breakout. We got it. Fuck this mouse. I ordered a new mouse because I couldn't figure out what was wrong with mine. Piece of shit. Breakout, and then we came all the way back down, and I said, this is the area, right? If this breakout's going to hold, because we still have not made a higher high, right? That was a sweep. This is a sweep. This high is intact. This high is intact. There's still no higher high here. Above 77, I think things look demonstrably more bullish, but we're not there yet. So we're into this 12-hour zone, and we've potentially are going to be putting in a bullish H12 SFP here. So we went up, came back and retest. We're sweeping out that low. This is pretty standard stuff. Okay. Is the H12 going to flip bullish? Well, this is a downtrend. What needs to happen for this to flip bullish? We need to make a market structure break. This is episode 3 of the whiteboard series, which I assume all of you are watching on repeat, day and night. That's what I need from you guys. You know, I need you to, like, when you go to bed, I need you to put the whiteboard playlist just on. You can mute it, dim your screen, but just let it run overnight. And do that every single night. Because I need every video in this playlist to have 100,000 views. I think this one's almost at 30K. 28K, that's not bad. We're a third of the way there. So if every single one of you guys watching just plays this video every night on repeat, night after night for the next 100 days, we're going to be there. So yeah, this is actually episode 2, market structure, right? We need the market structure to shift. So if the market structure shifts bullishly here, this becomes an H12 sweep. And I think you could argue taking a long here with your stop down there. Like, that's, I think, a perfectly fine setup. Risk reward is decent, right? Right up to that high here. So that's all I'm watching kind of on Bitcoin right now. Do we get the market structure break? Do we get the H12 sweep? If we do, awesome. There's a trade for you. If we don't get it and we just roll over again and make another low, then I'm probably leaning towards us tagging down here. Right? So that's it for Bitcoin. I don't really have anything else for you. Pretty straightforward. Quite literally, as I always do in these fucking streams, I'm giving you guys free trades. And more often than not, they've been working out lately. So I hope you guys have been making some money along the way with your boy. Making some money along the way with your boy. Whoa. Akash Mehra says, hi, Maine and Cody. Can Maine answer if using the H12 H1 system is impacted if we use extended trading hours instead of regular trading hours in equities? No, I don't think so. I think it's it works the same. Now, I'll be completely honest. I don't have as much experience using the H12 H1 system for equities. I trade more the weekly H12 system, or like the weekly and the daily, or sometimes even the monthly and the weekly for equities. My equities trades are much higher time frame than any other market that I trade. So I'm oftentimes taking really, really high time frame trades on equities, and I'm not going down, to the hourly chart or anything like that. So if we look at something like Coreweave, this setup that we gave you guys on stream, this was a weekly sweep, and then this was an H12 setup, right? If I turn off the extended hours here and go regular, it doesn't really change the setup other than the fact that you don't really see the breaker there. So if you go down to like a lower time frame, you kind of get it the same, but it just makes the candles trade a little wonkier. So yeah, there's some differences, I guess, but I personally am using the 24-hour charts for my setups, but I don't really enter on the hourly when it comes to equities. So that's Bitcoin done and dusted. I don't think there's anything else to add on Bitcoin. So we'll just leave this here. We'll see how this looks tomorrow, the day after, if this actually plays out or not. Maine, are you going to make a video in the whiteboard series, kind of what checklist we should have? I know you talked about it. I talk about that in the whiteboard series. In multiple videos in the whiteboard series, I give you a checklist. And then the videos that keep coming out are things that you can add to your checklist. So you're already, at this point, based on the videos that are out, you should have a checklist of the things you're looking for. The top-down episode is the primary bits of that checklist. And then the news trading episode, that's something that you can add to your checklist as well, because it might cause you to skip a trade because there might be news. The risk management episode, that's another thing for your checklist. Is the risk management good? The next video that I'm doing on or the ranges within ranges episode, advanced dealing ranges, that's a checklist, right? I'm doing a video on SMT. That's a checklist item that you can add. The initial core checklist you should already have. You need you need to know the market structure, high time frame bias. What's your dealing range? What's the draw on liquidity? Right? Is your setup there? Have you done the top-down analysis? Have you marked up the chart? Is your entry fractal there on the hourly, the 4-hour, the 15-minute, the M5? That is your checklist. All of the other things subsequent to that are things that you can use to weight and grade your trades. You do not need to only trade if SMT is available. But if SMT is there, it might be a better trade. So you have your core checklist, and then you have additional optional items that might take a trade from a B+ to an A+. Crypto Crank, we'll get you on here for sure. I'll have Cody reach out. All right, so that's Bitcoin done and dusted. Ethereum, I don't think we could have traded this any better. We took the short right at the highs. It rejected exactly where I wanted it to, and then we closed right before the big bounce. So that trade is played out at this point. Now, if you're looking at this thing, I think what you're looking at, right, is this. You have your big breaker up here, and then you have this breaker in here. And we technically have an H12 MSB here, right? So like this is, I would even argue you have a secondary one here, right? You have another little sweep and breaker here. So like this can still go down, right? Like this can still roll over. Bitcoin's potentially interesting here. But for now, I mean, both Bitcoin and ETH, even though I'm showing you a potential long here, this is in a downtrend. There is no long until we get a market structure break. And ETH is still bearish until it gets some sort of market structure break. I mean, this is a bearish chart for the time being, up into resistance. We just want to see this thing start to fucking go, if it's going to go. Yeah, I mean, for now, it's like just choppy as fuck, but we nailed this leg of the trade from here to here, and I make my money and I fucking add it to the pile, and then I move on. I'm not belaboring having a hope to hold this to fucking zero. If it's going to go lower, there'll be another setup that forms. The trade played out. Dogboy says there is a weekly 3-day H12 short on ETH. So let's look. So weekly, I don't see the sweep. 3-day, I don't see the sweep either. Because that to me is not a sweep. H12, I see the setup. What's up, Akhlak from India? Do I trade 4x? Yeah. How can we get Prime membership to Telegram? Telegram's free, bro. Yeah, deviation setup, sure. So effectively what he's saying is we traded above the high, right? It's not quite an SFP, but we traded above the high. And then this is your breaker. This is your MSB. But that's kind of already what we're operating in, right? We're just with the H12 here. It's the same thing. It's a setup within a setup within a setup. But I see it, bro. I see it. So yeah, I agree. Like I think ETH is still bearish for now until it can break above one of these highs, get back above this level here. And Bitcoin is still bearish until it can break one of these highs. Main, yesterday I shorted ETH based on the hourly SFP hit for 2R. Let's fucking go, dude. Yeah, so not really anything to update on ETH right now. Like, fuck, dude. I don't know. Like, these lows look fucking ripe for the taking. They look pretty ripe for the taking. Can we push higher from here? Absolutely. I think it really depends on what Bitcoin's going to do. If Bitcoin breaks out, ETH probably pushes higher. If Bitcoin consolidates here or rolls to the next level, ETH is going to take out, you know, these lows at 1750. Morning, Maine. My whole family loves you for all your education in the whiteboard series. Thank you, bro. ETH BTC, you know, kind of broke out and is now just chilling. We know what ETH BTC needs to do. It needs to break one of these highs. So there's still some work to be done between here and here, but it's broken out of this downtrend line for now. Is this a higher low here? If it is, we need to see one of these highs get snapped, and then it starts to get really exciting. Solana, we've been looking at this for a while. It hasn't really moved. So we have this weekly order block here that we're trading in. Go down to the lower time frames. We kind of had a little over-under setup here. Over-under setup. And it's just kind of consolidating. There's just not really much to say. Again, here's the June low on Solana. This one's up 30% off the low. You know, but still, all things considered, you know, where are we really? Let's assume we're going back to all-time high. 260% move. Versus you know, 300% move, buying here and buying there, you're not going to really care. You're not really going to care. Hyperliquid's perking up a little bit. You know, I've still been of the mindset that I would love to buy Hyperliquid lower. Bro, I'm going to snap this. I'm going to take this mouse and I'm going to throw it through a wall. You know, I'd still love to buy Hyperliquid lower, but for now, right, kind of breaking out of this little downtrend here, it's trying to show some signs of life. It's trying to hold this range, right? It's trying to maintain this range instead of this larger one, which it's totally, you know, capable of doing. Next target, if this breakout holds, is going to be the mid-range. Still no market structure break, really. I mean, you could argue this is one. But there's still lots of highs here that it can come for if it's going to continue to push up. And I think largely this is still going to depend on what Bitcoin decides to do. Do I recommend full margin on breakout evaluation as a good way to get funded? No, I don't recommend that. Are you probably going to do that anyways? Yeah. I mean, we just increased the leverage and we opened up the notional position cap on the S&P to 2 million. So you can get a pretty girthy position on $2 million long the S&P. It's pretty crazy. But it's not my recommendation that you full port to try and pass. Absolutely not. I'm reading the chat from everywhere, buddy. Weekly bearish order block on hype. Was this a sweep? No. Yeah, I mean, technically, this is a weekly bearish order block here. Yes. But that, this thing goes all the way up to like, 70 almost. And we're still under 60. Daily sweep on hype. I don't see it. Well, unless you're talking about this. Something to watch for sure, but still hasn't closed yet. Still lots of time left. There's still like a full hour, and this thing's only, 25, 30 cents off the high. But that could be a daily SFP. You are correct. No, I didn't want to do that. Let's see here. The S&P. Okay, we talked about this last stream. I just want to see this continue higher. I don't want to see stalling, and I definitely don't want to see a pullback. Excuse me. If this is a really strong impulsive move, fair value gap, tagged it, I want to see this just continue. I don't really want to see any sort of major pullback here. I wanted to see this thing line to 8,000. Same thing with NQ here. So we're long NQ. I shared this setup when it happened. I want to see this thing just move. And if this thing can break above all-time high, I'll then bring my stop up to like there. But for now, I'm going to leave my stop down here. And I just want to see this thing go, right? I just want to see this thing go. New highs would be ideal. Break the downtrend line. A little retest of this breaker thing here. Right? I want to see this thing rip now. New highs. Oh, we got a donation, New Zealand dollars. This is a little bit better than the Indian rupees we got, but I still appreciated those rupees. You made me feel like I'm in Zelda or something. So, Yo Main, it's your boy from New Zealand. That's definitely New Zealand flag, not Australian. Thanks for the whiteboard series. I've been loving the videos. Keep them coming. Have a beer on me. What an absolute fucking Giga Chad. Thank you, Diablo74. You're the GOAT. You're the GOAT. So yeah, let's see what happens here. Like, are we gonna get this continuation? That's what I want to see across the board. Same thing here. I want to see this turn up and go. Same thing with the Russell. I want to see this thing turn up and go. I don't want to see any sort of drift around here. I don't want to see any sort of pullback here. I want to see continued strength. I fuck with the wrong Indian. Well, who's the right Indian? Is it you? Are you the Indian I've been looking for this entire time? Should we chop it up over some chicken tikka masala? Maybe, perhaps. Perhaps some naan bread. And a little bit of butter chicken. Is that what we should do? Because, like, if you're the right Indian for me, let me know. Let me know. You know? I'm down. I'm down. We can meet up and we can go crush some Indian food and you can give me a bunch of money. How's that sound? Maybe some biryani. Some biryani. Maybe some samosa. But yeah, that's it for equities too, really. I wanted to see this shit continue. Go fucking higher. Keep fucking going. Goldman has targets of 8,000. Citi, I think 8,100. Bank of America, I think, is the only one saying there's some downside to 7,300. Polymarket right now has, 70. Sorry, where are we here? Polymarket has, Yeah, 8,200 at a 38% chance. So if you guys remember when we were talking about this, even just on last stream on Tuesday, 8,000 was as high as they went. And I said, Polymarket, guys, we got to add some higher targets. We got to add some higher targets. I want to see 10K on the board. So this just went up today. 10K is now on the board. So this volume is going to fill in as we get closer to the end of the year. But I told him, I was like, I want to see 10K on the board. So 38 cents or 38%, excuse me, for 8,200. It's not that far from where we are now. 8,200 is not that far. It's 5% from here. And this market goes until the end of the year. So this is absolutely something to watch as the volume fills in on this thing. We've got some pretty bullish targets here, and you've got some of the big money calling for 8,000 plus on the S&P. And the chart looks like this. So you got big money. You've got Goldman, you've got Citi calling for over 8,000 S&P, Polymarket calling for it. Let's see what happens. But yeah, I just want to see continuation, impulsive moves higher on risk. That's going to be the best case scenario for Bitcoin, even though risk has been ripping and Bitcoin hasn't done fuck all. If the stock market pulls back, I just have this feeling that the Bitcoin pulls back. Basically, this is how trading's been since October 10th. Bitcoin does this, okay? And the S&P does this. And then what happens on more of a microstructure level is the S&P will do this, right? And Bitcoin will just do this. And then the S&P will do this. And Bitcoin will do this. So pretty gay, pretty fucking gay. But I think ideally for Bitcoin, even though it hasn't been reacting to basically any upside movement on equities at all, I would rather equities go up to give Bitcoin a better chance of going up than equities pull back significantly, because then I just have a feeling that Bitcoin probably just eats a dick because that's what it likes to do. That's what it likes to do. What's your opinion on the 4-year cycle bottom not in yet for Bitcoin? If you follow the 4-year cycle, that means the bottom doesn't come until late Q4, like mid to late Q4 or early Q1 of next year. Let's look at the dollar, the Dixie. So we came down into this level here that we had drawn out. Now, if you think the top's in on the dollar, like if you think the top's in, you want to see this. That's what you want to see. If we are able to break out here, like if this holds and we break above this, I think 104, 107. And I think that would coincide with Bitcoin pulling back further and the low not being in yet. So pretty interesting, arguably pretty big spot for Bitcoin. BTC didn't move at all while the S&P gained 6.5%. Sounds normal. Sounds like standard Bitcoin price action to me. A little garlic naan, a little chicken kebab, Hydra body biryani. Let's see here. Not really much going on here, right? Bunch of people being like, oh my God, the bond yields are as high as they've been in so long. And then just like not much really going on for the last week or so. Just kind of holding here for now, hanging out. IBM still in this range, back inside it now. Bloom Energy came right down into our weekly order block. Big rally. Remember, Leopold exited there. This thing had a 50% rip. Nvidia, right? I marked this level. We had that breakdown. Pretty strong reclaim. If this thing's bearish, which Michael Burry seems to think it is, it should get back below that level and then back below here. If this thing isn't bearish, any sort of all-time high breakout, I think you just probably long it. Micron, same thing as Bloom Energy here, right? Came down, retested the bullish order block. What is this? This is the dealing range episode. There's your low. There's your high. Here's your point of interest. We came right into it. Bullish SFP. Next thing you know, even after the SFP closed. So if you would have not touched this and just longed it when the SFP closed, it's up 15%. Okay? Your risk is down there. So you're already up 1.5R. So let's see what happens there. SanDisk up big on the day. It is into resistance here, right? It's into resistance here. This is kind of like the Bitcoin chart. Lower highs, lower lows. Okay, we want this to be bullish. I need it to flip 1700. Flip 1700, it looks good. Same reason that we need to see Bitcoin on a lower time frame, but price is price, right? This is just SanDisk. Lower highs, lower lows. If it flips 64, probably goes higher. Mean, what do you think of the percentage of the bottom being in? Is it 50-50, 60-40, etc.? I don't really want to give it a percent because I don't know. I would be leaning more in the camp of it not being in yet. But just because I think it might not be in yet, it doesn't mean I'm not bullish on Bitcoin or slowly starting to accumulate Bitcoin and other crypto. I just don't think the ultimate low is in yet, or at best, I think we just have more time of chop as opposed to the bottom being in and we're about to break out. Like the bottom could be in, but we could do this for another 3 months, 4 months. And the same people that have been screaming at you that, oh my God, I called the bottom, Pico bottom. And it's like, okay, but we had months of sideways where it kind of, figured itself out. And if you go back to the prior lows, right? Like this was a process. The bottom is a process. Right? The bottom's a process. Even though this had one more leg, you could argue the bottoming range here is this. Like this was the bottoming range on Bitcoin. So you really had from June until March, almost an entire year, right? 9 months where this thing was effectively going sideways. Yeah, this is a big range, but if you bought anywhere in this range, and then this is the result, are you not over the moon happy? I think, yeah. Let's assume you bought the Pico bottom, okay, and sold the Pico top. It's a 700% move. Let's assume you bought the top of the range, okay? Still a 400% move, and you weren't even close to the bottom. So you bought almost 70% higher than the people who bought the Smico low, and you're still getting a 400% return, and you're not going to buy the Pico low or the fucking Pico top. The idea is you just want to be building exposure in the bottoming range, and I just don't think that what's happening now is any different yet. And the reason Twitter is so toxic right now, everyone's bringing up, oh, these guys were scammers, and this person's a scammer, and that person's a scammer, and these are a scam, and this is a scam, and fuck you, and fuck you. It's because most people are bored, and the market is shaking them out. But instead of shaking them out via price, it's shaking them out via time and lack of volatility. Anytime you see Bitcoin, crypto go sideways, very low volatility for a significant period of time, people just start going stir crazy. It's just what happens. It's just what happens because they don't have anything else going on in their life, right? They only learned how to trade when the market was up only. And so when it's doing anything other than up only, they just start freaking out. And the vast majority of people on Twitter are just retarded, right? Like there's accounts that are just dedicated haters. And listen, I love to talk shit and chirp every once in a while. And I used to do it a lot more. But my life got substantially better when I spoke positively about myself, about the things going on in my life, and about other people, and I just avoided drama and negativity. Life is way too short to engage or surround yourself or associate yourself with anything negative. And your life will be better, and you will trade better, and you will be more successful if you focus on positivity in all things. It's not that Bitcoin is down a lot right now. It's I get the opportunity to buy Bitcoin cheap. Oh, but what if it makes another low? Okay, well, I get the opportunity to buy even potentially cheaper Bitcoin. Oh, this person's scamming, blah, blah, blah. Ignore it. Fuck it. It does not concern you. This person just spends all day hating. It's like being Skip Bayless. His entire career is like being a hater, man. And I just think that that rots your soul. Genuinely. Genuinely. Life's too short, man. Be happy because it's like this. And then you look back, you're like, man, all that time and energy I wasted being a fucking curmudgeonly, depressing asshole. What a waste. What a waste. Terrible waste. Karma, bro. It's real. Karmatic energy. It exists. All right, let's get into some of these chart requests here. Because I don't think I have anything else. Like gold. We took the long here. I laid out the long. I didn't actually take it, but didn't really give the pullback where I wanted. It only came back to the top of the breaker. But we talked about this setup, right? Trend line break, flip the breaker, little bit of a pullback. It tagged it, but I'm not actually in this trade, but that was kind of the idea. Silver was very similar. It's attempting to break out right now. If it's able to clear this, then maybe there's a setup there. But yeah, that's all I really got. So let's go into the chart request here. Tron. Tron. Yeah, man. I mean, still one of the most retarded charts in all of crypto. Still one of the most retarded charts in all of crypto. So what I notice here is sweep and a sweep. So we're kind of between these two levels. This is the monthly. So now if you zoom in to like the 3-day, we took out the low and just traded all the way to the high. Now we've taken out the high. I'd be looking at this as an area of potential rejection. This kind of reminds me of Hyperliquid, which seems blasphemous to say. But if you look at Hyperliquid, which has moved up out of the shitcoin tier, it's kind of like this, just on a higher time frame. So you have this. So like if I put these two charts next to each other, you'll see what I'm saying, right? So it's kind of this. You saw what happened to Hyperliquid there? Well, Tron has the same setup. Same setup right here, right? There's your sweep. Here's your like breaker. So this could be a lower high here. You got to be aware, kind of a double top kind of vibe. But I don't really trade Tron or track Tron at all. So take that with a grain of salt. I probably should because, I mean, this thing is up retarded amounts and it doesn't ever seem to go down for any significant period of time. And it just continues to trend higher and higher and higher. Not a lot of charts in crypto look like this over the last 8 years. You could have bought at the Pico top in 2021, and it's up 100%. How many altcoins could you have bought in April of 2021 and they're up 100% today? I would challenge you to find 5. I don't even think there's 5. There might not be many at all. That's a challenge for someone in the chat. Try and find an altcoin that you could have bought on April 13th of 2021. So pretty much the Pico high of the bull market. And you could have bought it at the top and it's up 80 to 90% today. And the reality is most of those coins are down 80 to 90% today. Tron just seems to go up forever. But this is an area of resistance coming up here. You could argue that this is an area of resistance too, but I think this is a little more relevant. Near. We charted this last time. There's literally nothing to update here, right? We have the monthly SFP down at the low here. Holy fuck this mouse. Monthly SFP. Weekly breaker. I'll just draw this a little nicer. But this is our weekly breaker. There's an order block in here. We want this to be a higher low. Low. Oops. low, high. This is where the higher low should form if it's going to. So you have a couple of options here. This is the weekly chart. You either long this thing as it is. You can put your stop down here, right? Or you can put your stop here and make it super duper tight. I think here is the safe spot for your stop for now. That's option one. Option two is you zoom in on this thing and you look for a low time frame setup. That might be this setup forming right here. We're within the weekly order block. Well, we have an SFP here on the H12. So if we're able to flip this, there might be a low time frame trade here. Right? With a really, really tight stop. Maybe that's the setup you're taking. But for now, I think on the high time frame, you're just waiting and seeing if this support holds. I just covered gold, my boy. Only Tron is above its 2021 all-time high, according to ChatGPT. There you go. There you go. So that's near. You guys have asked for this for like 4-5 streams in a row, and it's just nothing has happened. Nothing has happened. This thing is like up 100% from where it was in February, though. So this is where you want to see the higher low. If a higher low is going to form, this is kind of exactly where you want to see it happen. FET. Artificial super intelligence. You know, back in 2017, if we were trading like 2017 or even 2021, with how popular AI is right now, a coin called Artificial Super Intelligence Alliance would probably be going up. But alas, we're in 2026 and trading altcoins is now homosexual behavior because all that happens on chain is butt sex. And it's not voluntary. It's not voluntary. If you're not doing the one, if you're not pitching, you're fucking catching, dude. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's all the way back down to demand, but it's even lower than demand. Like this to me, it seems like, why would it not take this low out at this point? You know, you can argue we're in this demand zone right here, or we're just about there. And yeah, there's a fair value gap here. Maybe that's where this thing bottoms, but this thing is so close to that low, I wouldn't be surprised. However, it's a bit of a fractal here at play, right? So if you look how the last move bottomed, we had this big ass rally and then it came all the way back down to here, right? And then it had a huge ass rally again, right? So there's your bottom, move up, it bottoms back at this demand and ripped. Well, could the same thing play out again? Here's your demand. Maybe this thing bottoms here and then goes up. I don't know. I don't know. Sol is up, he says, and it's up less than 1% on the day. Sometimes I think you guys say like, oh, this thing's pumping, and you're literally looking at the 1 minute chart. And you're like, oh my God. Like actually, you know, Sol went down for most of today. It's up in the last 3 minutes, last 5 minutes, it's up for sure. But not even 1% on the day. Not even 1% on the day. Okay, lighter. Lighter, Bobiter, Banana, Fana, Faux Fighter. Okay, is this new information here? Is this new info? So we broke out, right? Pushed up. But I'm looking at this now and I'm seeing this. I'm seeing this little daily swip here. H12 as well. I'd be watching for this to maybe possibly potentially break that low. If we break that low, this thing becomes a short on the H12. The H1 printed a beautiful H12 H1 here, and I somehow did not catch this, because that is chef's kiss right there. Bang, bang, stop up there, target equal lows. Oh man, that would have been a little cook. That would have been a little cook indeed, but I didn't see it. So that's something to watch, right? Is we have this kind of daily, we have a daily sweep here, we have an H12 sweep here, we have a 3-day sweep here, took out last week's high. If this thing breaks H12 structure to the downside, like below 22.5, let's call it 2.25, 2.26, really, this might cook. This might cook to the downside, that is. All right, Link Marine, I got you, brother. Let's take a look at Chainlink. Bum, 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 bum. So we talked about this demand area on Chainlink, kind of similar to that FET chart, right? Where we came all the way back down to the impulse of the move. So I drew this out some time ago. We came all the way back down to the impulse of the move. And then as you zoom in here, right, I talked about this kind of potential trend change here. There's your low, high, low. What is this, 3-day chart? There you go. And then here's your 3-day order block. So I don't remember. Oh my God, look at this fucking mouse, bro. Unbelievable. I don't remember when I drew this out specifically. It was probably a few streams ago, but we had a low, a high, a lower low, and then we broke structure. Fresh order block. I drew that out, and there you go. We tagged it, and it's pushing up. So assuming it can hold this move, right? It's reacting exactly where you wanted to see it react. Put in a nice big candle here. It's up 10% off of this order block already. So that's what you want to see. I want to see now a higher high above this high. It's risky to not own Chainlink. Cowan 2021. I mean, I think you can go into anyone's feed and pull out calls that they made, you know, in the past where they look retarded. Me included. Me included. CD Project Red. I mean, I drew this out. I have no idea when. This to me is just in a big fat range. Right? But we're just ranging. This is a year-long range here. Someone said Sol is up from the April 2021 highs, but Sol also peaked later in 2021. Okay, so Solana is the only other thing other than Tron. But Solana also went down a lot more than Tron, I believe. But yeah, this thing's just ranging. If it can break out of this range, I think it looks kind of interesting. If it can break out here. Say something if you're not kidnapped by Satoshi Nakamoto. I mean, I don't know who Satoshi Nakamoto is, but shout out to him. XRP. Let's take a look at the old Ripple-ski. Ripple is just like one of those coins. It's just the normies, the retails love it. And so we drew this out on Ripple last time, right? I was like, I want to see a break above this trend line to be interested. You guys remember this? I'm like, can we break above this trend line? If we can, you put your stop down there and you long it. And we didn't do it. We just made, you know, another low. We just made another low. So this trend line kind of just still stays. I think the the logic remains the same as well, other than the fact that, did we make a new low here? Yeah, we did. So we've now traded below that low. I would watch this maybe on the weekly. If we can sweep out the low here on the weekly, that would be the setup I'm now watching on this. So it's Thursday. This weekly candle doesn't close for a few more days. But if we are able to break out of this really aggressive downtrend, and this is able to close as a sweep, maybe there's a setup here. But still too early to tell. Retail got smoked on XRP, but it still has this crazy mind share. You know, it has this crazy mind share. If you ask like a normie about crypto, you ask your cab driver about crypto, they're like, yeah, I own XRP. Like if I wanted to just grow at all costs on Twitter and YouTube, I would make all of my comments or all of my content around XRP. There's literal people who are just XRP influencers, and they talk about, oh, XRP, it's coming. They're working with the U.S. government. It's going to replace all the payment rails. It's like, I don't think so. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe it will. But for now, if it puts in a weekly SFP, there might be a setup here, but nothing currently. Yasin Faru, he was the founder of BTC. No, Satoshi Nakamoto was the founder of BTC. Satoshi Nakamoto is not a real person. Burry is right. Well, we're going to talk about that in a bit. I got a whole section, a whole spiel that we're going to go over on Burry. Francis Perez, 97, says, hello, Maine. I am 29. I have some savings and plan to quit my job and take some rest of the corporate 9-to-5 world. In that time, I plan to make my trading profitable. Wish me luck. Francisco, I don't know if that's a good idea. I think before you consider trading full time, you should already be profitable. You should already be able to make money, because let's assume you don't have a job anymore and you quit, but you don't have a profitable trading system yet. How much money do you have to live before you have to go back to work, assuming you're not going to make any money trading? Because it takes a while to become profitable. It took me years. Don't believe what you see on the internet. It took me years. So I think you should be profitable before you consider quitting your job. And then even before you still consider quitting your job, you should have at a minimum 6 months of living expenses so that you can focus on trading and not having to withdraw from your trading account to pay for your living costs. So let's assume that you have a monthly expenditure, okay, of $3,000. This is what it costs you to live. You probably live in a shoebox, or I don't know, maybe you live in Asia and you live in a mansion for $3,000. But let's say this is your monthly nut. Every month you have $3,000 that you need to pay expenses. I think you need at least 6 times that, but even better, 12 times that to trade full time. Okay? So what's this? $18,000. So you need at least 18 grand in savings, or ideally 36,000. So every single month, all of your expenses, rent, food, entertainment, right? You don't want to be living like, desperate as hell before you even consider quitting your job. And I don't think you should even be doing this math until you already are consistently able to make money in the market. Because let's assume that you have a $10,000 trading account. Well, how much realistically are you think you're going to earn on your trading account in a year? Trading, risking 1 to 2%. I'm not talking just going full port into a meme coin and hoping you make $1 million. Let's assume in a very, very positive scenario, like unbelievably positive, in a single year, you return 50% on your capital. Your trading account is now $15,000. Now, if you're just spending this to live over that time, great. You've now compounded your account to 15K. But if you have to withdraw from this account to live, you're fucked. Like, you're fucked. This is not nearly enough money to trade full time. Because if your monthly living expenses are $3,000, you need to be making so much money from trading that you can cover your monthly expenses without really damaging your account at all. I think the math to profitability and when you should trade full time is completely it's completely misrepresented online. Oh, I quit your job. I quit my job after 6 months and I was trading full time. Those people are scammers. They're lying to you. They're LARPing. Guaranteed. Nobody who trades, like really trades, was profitable in 6 months. Just not realistic. So yeah, I don't think that that's a good idea. And if you're going to do it anyways, I hope you have a minimum of 6 months of living expenses saved up. Better yet, 12 months. And you have a trading account large enough that the money you're earning on it is significant. Because if you have 12 months of living expenses saved up, but you only have a $10,000 account, what happens when you run out of this money? Your trading account is not nearly big enough to fund your lifestyle. It's not even close. You need like a $100,000 account. Now, what could be a shortcut and a solution to help you with this? Trading with a prop firm. And I'm not just saying that because I own one, but if you're going to do it at Breakout. We'll give you up to 200 grand. And then you have more money, right? Earning 1%. Now, if you earn that same, let's say you return 30%, 20%, but you're trading at Breakout and you manage your risk and the rules, that's now 20 grand. Okay. But if you're going to be trading your own capital, which you can, absolutely, you don't have to use a prop firm, but it is a bit of a cheat code to make things happen quicker. I think the math here really needs to make sense. And I definitely think that you should already be profitable before you consider going full time. I did this. I made a little bit of money trading. I'm like, oh my God, I'm the GOAT. I quit my job, started trading full time. Immediately, I realized I'm actually not that good at trading. I had to withdraw money from my trading account to pay to live, to the point where I started taking trades that weren't even good trades, but I needed money, which made me lose even more. I literally moved back into my parents' basement and reapplied for my job back. Not a very proud moment. So, speaking from experience. Okay, we got ONDO. We got a couple more here. ONDO. Sorry to burst your bubble, Francisco. I just want what's best for you. ONDO looks very similar to NEAR. It's the same setup, right? I want to see this be a higher low. We put in a sweep there. We're now retesting this. I think you kind of want to see this. It actually is similar to Bitcoin too. You kind of want to see this hold here. If we lose this uptrending structure, if we lose this higher low, then I think this thing probably goes and takes out new lows here. Not really much else to say. We're into kind of this really high time frame demand way over here. We're attempting to put in some bullish structure. We're finding resistance here. We're in a range. Low, high, potential higher low, but we need a higher high. If this thing just fails and rolls over below here, I think pretty high odds we go and take this out too. We looked at Zcash last stream and nothing has happened, guys. Nothing has happened at all. It has not moved since Tuesday. I talked about this level on Tuesday's stream. We have an order block here. It's got a little bit of a reaction at the level. right? Little tiny reaction at the level, but nothing. There's nothing to update here. If it does not hold this, it goes down to here. If it holds this, we should see a breakout and then it goes up to here. But for now, there's no trade here for me. If it breaks out of here, you can probably long it with your stop down here up into here. If it breaks down, I'll look for a long down here. But where it is right now, there is no trade for me. And I don't think Pumpfun has really done anything either, guys, since we looked at it last time. Right? It's grinding up here. We had the weekly setup, right? Weekly sweep. H12 breaker. And it's just aggressively trending higher. I think you just assume that this trend continues until it doesn't. Assume this goes higher until it doesn't. The moment it breaks down from here, probably going to have a bigger correction. But for now, I'm not interested in trying to call top on this thing. If you're trying to get into a long, this thing is traded pretty predictably, right? Low, high, higher, low. Low, high, higher, low. Low, high, higher, low. So you got a low, a high. Didn't come back here. That means the trend is getting steeper, right? So you could draw like a new trend like this, getting very steep. I think the next setup, if there is one, if it's going to continue higher, is you wait for it to break up and then pull back, and then that's your next setup if it's going to continue. If it loses this trend, it goes to here. If it loses this trend, larger correction. All right, so now we're going to go over charts that were requested on Tuesday, and we're going to update them and see if any of the stuff that we talked about actually played out. So Coreweave, obviously we know, played out beautifully. Weekly H12 setup. I think at this point, if you took this trade, it went up 40% from our entry. It took out 1, 2, 3, not quite 4 highs, but it took out a lot of this. Can it go higher? Sure, but I would absolutely be de-risking some at this point if you took this trade. And I'd be watching how this candle closes. If this closes as a bearish SFP, which it very well might, this thing might come down and fill in some of this efficiency, right? If it breaks below here, it probably fills in some of this. But overall, that was a great setup that we saw. Sofi. So we talked about this on stream on Tuesday. I said fair value gap here. Look what it put in right at the fair value gap. Nice little sweep right at the fair value gap. It's pushing higher. Let's see if this thing can break 100. Or not 100, sorry, 1950. So this is just a big range. Low and highs. So for now, I assume the target is at least there. And then if it breaks out from there, great. I do not have a VIP Telegram. Telegram is free. If anyone reaches out to you about some sort of VIP Telegram on Telegram, it's not me. I will never, ever DM you, ever. I love you guys. I appreciate you all, but I'm never going to DM you. So if anyone DMs you and says, this is Trader Main's private signals, private telegrams, it's all fake. I'm never going to ask you for money. I'm never going to DM you about joining Telegram. I'm never going to DM you anything at all. Okay? So those are all fake. There is no VIP stuff. I see under every one of my Twitter posts, there's people being like, join Trader Main's free VIP stuff. None of that is real, and it's not me. Okay? I don't need your money. I don't want your money. I have my own. And I don't have a VIP Telegram. So don't listen to anyone saying that I do. The only things that you can possibly pay me for are Breakout, which is my company that is now owned by Kraken. So if you're not on the official breakoutprop.com website, that's it. Or you can join the Haven, which is a group, a Discord group that costs $250 a month. And I'm in there with 5 other people. It's me, Crypto UB, Cold Blooded Schiller, Loma, Pierre, and Krillin. So of those 6 people, there's $250 a month. I'm getting like $40 a month from people that sign up in that group. That's it. There's no other way to pay me. I don't have a mentorship. I don't have a VIP Telegram, and all my other shit. Everything is free. Streams are free. Telegram is free. I have a free Discord. I have a free newsletter. Just go to tradermain.com. The links are all there. If you want to support me, click the Polymarket link below the tweet that I sent out when I went live. Sign up for Breakout. Use code MAIN. Or don't do any of that and just watch this stuff for free, okay? Hey, Main, if you was 21 and had around 150K, what would you do? Well, the first thing I'd do is learn some grammar. If you were 21, I'm just kidding. If I was 21 and I had 150K, what would I do? If I had 150K at 21, I would be the most retarded person that you have ever met. I would be doing money spreads on Instagram. I'd buy some retarded fuck off car and I would blow that money so goddamn fast on drugs and alcohol. It's insane. But that's because at 21, I had not developed my frontal cortex fully. Now, at the age of 41 and a half, I think I'm pretty much grown up. And so if I could go back in time and be 21 and have 150K, absolutely, I would be taking risks. Not stupid risks, but you're 21 years old. If you have 150K now, clearly you've done some things right to get that money. You can try and take some risks to get an outsized reward. If you want to be in crypto and learn to trade, take some time and do it. Maybe you already live at home. You probably have very little responsibility, very little expenses. Now's a good time to take risks because being 21 and being 22, it's the same thing. It's no different. If you burn a year trying to learn a new skill, start a business, go on a big crazy trip, travel the world, I think all of that stuff is very valuable at your age. Or buy some Bitcoin. Yeah, you could buy 2 Bitcoin right now and then just continue living your life. But I mean, I think there's absolutely risks that you can take, you know, when you're that young. 4 hour, 15-minute on Bitcoin right now. Yeah, I mean, the 4 hour sweep is in for sure. I'm waiting for the H12, H1 though. But in theory, we have an M4. H4 M15 too. But I would rather wait for the H1 personally. All right, Coreweave, Sofi we did. Let's do Nebius. So, I mean, I think that's pretty dang. No, didn't quite come. I thought maybe we would get a run of these lows, but it didn't happen. It just rallied. So, not really much to say on this one. It just moved. Big sweep, right? That's the line that we had there. In a weekly demand. Pushed up. This is resistance. Okay, so you kind of have this trend line back test and you have this bearish order block. If we're able to flip this, I think it probably fucking sends, but I think we are coming in a little bit of resistance here. Thanks, Main. I have made 150K by trading. Started at 16 and turned $200 into 43,000 unrealized with meme coins, and I didn't sell and ended up this cycle with 5K and started learning how to do this. Yeah, dude, if you were able to turn that much money into that much trading meme coins and you're still only 21, you're one of the few people who I would probably say fucking go hard in the paint and try and run that up into as big of a balance as you can because you're still extremely young and you can take these kind of risks and you already, you know, zeroed out basically and built it back up. You can probably do it again, but 150K is not no money. So if you were able to turn $200 into 43K and then presumably you started this cycle with 5K and now you have 150, you don't need to trade with all of your 150. Maybe buy 1 Bitcoin and then trade with the other $75,000 or whatever the math is there, right? Put some of it away because 150K is no joke. I don't know where you live or what your circumstances are like, but clearly you know what you're doing in the meme coin world. Maybe take a little bit of that off the table, put it into something a little more steady, whether it's Bitcoin, because it's pretty cheap right now. Maybe it's hyper liquid. Maybe it's into the S&P or into some sort of bond or whatever that you're going to just hold for the long term because you're so fucking young. And then with the rest of it, try and turn it into a mill, bro. Go for it. If you zero out at 21, if you were broke at 20 and then you have 150K at 21, it doesn't matter if you try and run it up again, but learn from your mistakes. You round tripped last time because you didn't take profit. Make sure you take profit this time. My mouse is from Glorious Core, which is the same place I got my keyboard. Yeah, this is the stock that Michael Burry has been shorting aggressively, and he shorted even more after it ripped on unbelievably positive earnings, right? 83% beat on earnings, and they beat on revenue, not by as much, but smashed their earnings, 83% beat, and Michael Burry shorted even more. Now, what I will say is this is the area to short if it's going to go down, but I'm pretty sure he's been shorting this entire way up. Okay, let's kind of rip through some. We already did SanDisk. We already did MU. We'll do AMD here real quick. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh my God. Did that just ruin all my lists? Okay, well, I'm just gonna... Hold on. Sorry, guys. I'm fucking retarded here. Okay. We'll do AMD really quickly here, and not really much has changed. We do have a sweep here, right? So we've got a sweep there on AMD. The market structure level is pretty far away. You could argue we've got like some sort of H4 thing here. So I think AMD, you kind of just want to see this thing go from here if it's gonna. I mean, what is the best trade to take on breakout to pass your evaluation? Entry, stop loss, take profit. I have no answers for you, my guy. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. More time frames are coming soon. Trust me. I'm working on it. Bro, why are you even asking me any questions? I turned 500. He says I turned 5K in 150K by using prop firms and some swings on personal. He's trading a breakout, Giga Chad. I already bought an apartment for 100K. So 150K is my liquid money that I have trading. Bro, you are so far and ahead away from where I was at your age. It's insane. At 21, I was living in my parents' basement. Okay. So you're killing it, bro. I don't think I can tell you anything that you don't already know. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. You're going to be killing it. Man, you DM me on Telegram. I gave all my credit cards and SSN. That was you, right? On Telegram for VIP stuff. You said you needed and wanted my money. Well, your money specifically, Connor, I wanted your money. But otherwise, I'm not going to give anyone, ask anyone for money. But you specifically, that DM was real. I want your money. Obviously, joking. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on over on Robinhood chain here. We got CashCat. We got CashCat moving a little bit. So I own a couple coins on Robinhood chain. So I'm on FOMO. I wanted to see what all the fuss was about. So I made a FOMO account. I bought CashCat, and I think I'm up. Let me see. What's my CashCat entry? I'm only going to buy stuff that's already in the tens of millions of market caps because I don't want people to copy trade me on like random shitters. I'm not going to do that because I'm not a piece of shit. So I'm on cash. Like there's someone on Twitter right now who I respect and have met in person and like, to be honest with you. And I was under the impression was a good trader because I'd seen them be a very good trader. Who's been shilling a meme coin that they own a large percentage of, and they have as many, if not more, followers than me, and they've been shilling, like some fucking Robinhood meme coin, and it's up a bunch, right? I think it's at like 30 or 40 mil now, but they were shilling it when it was like $100,000 market cap or some shit, and I'm like, that to me is greasy. Is it illegal? No. You can do whatever you want. I just think it's kind of in bad faith because people are buying it because you're shilling it. And the assumption is you probably are going to be dumping on their heads at one point or another. And the moment you stop talking about it, it's probably going to die. So I just don't do that stuff. That's beyond the pale for me, at least morally. But, you know, to each their own. Everyone can do whatever the fuck they want. But I'm not going to name names. But some people like to do that shit. I personally am not interested in that. So like I'll buy a coin like this because it's got, you know, a significant market cap already and I don't own some crazy percentage of it, right? So I'm in CashCat from 142 million. So I'm up a little bit. This is all on FOMO, so you can just watch on there. So I'm up, you know, 10, 15%. I bought some Ansem. I got into Ansem at 168. And I'm just fucking around. This is fuck around money. This is not like crazy money. If the stuff goes up 5x, if it goes up 10x, sweet. Okay. I apparently can't pull up Ansem. There you go. So I'm in Ansem from 168. So I'm fucking around a little on FOMO. I'm even taking some trades with the perps on there just to try it out. I bought a dog coin on Robinhood chain. What is it? Yeah, it's this one. I mean, these are the highest market cap coins on Robinhood. And I'm in the top 2. I'm not in Stonk Broker, but maybe I'll add that. But I'm in this one. I'm in this. And then I'm in Ansem. So if you want to follow along on FOMO, feel free, but I'm not going to enter any shitters. So if you see me enter shitters on there, it was an accident. I accidentally longed something that was like really, really small. I didn't realize it. I literally put $500 in it and it went up like crazy. Like the 500 became like 10K. And everyone's like, oh my God, Maine's buying shitters. I did not mean to buy that. I didn't realize the market cap was so small. And I probably shouldn't have tied my Twitter to it anyways. So I just didn't touch the coin because I'm not endorsing it. And I'm never going to sell it because I never want to be perceived as dumping on someone's head on some little small cap coin that I'm up only because I have a big following. Like if Ansem goes up to 400 mil, me dumping 20, 30, 40K of it is meaningless. If CashCat goes up to 250 mil, me dumping 20, 30, 4K of it is meaningless. It's not going to affect the chart. Whereas this he who now shall not be named I'm discussing, if he were to sell any of the coins he's holding, he's up hundreds of thousands of dollars off of like a 10 to 20K investment, the chart's going to nuke. And the only reason people are buying is because he's promoting it to hundreds of thousands of people. So yeah, that's not my game. No judgment on people who do that. Well, it's just not what I would do. You know? There's lots of big accounts that are doing this, by the way, right? And that's how a lot of people make money on chain, whether they talk about it on Twitter to a huge audience, or they have a huge following on FOMO or Pumpfun, or they have wallets that are heavily tracked. That's exactly what they do. I mean, the game is very simple, right? Let's assume people are tracking my wallet, and they tag my wallet as main. And then I go and buy some coin that's got a 50K market cap and I acquire 10% of it or some bullshit, right? Which is only $5,000. instantly all the copy traders are going to buy this coin, right? And this thing now, maybe it goes to like 2 mil. Okay, so now I'm up like 30x on my $5,000 investment just on my main wallet. Meanwhile, they buy 10% on this wallet, and then on their side wallet, they buy another 10%, right? But they distribute it across 5 side wallets. Each wallet buys 2%. And as it's trading higher, they're dumping on the side wallet. And then when the chart inevitably crashes, because that's what these all do, they go, oh, I never sold. Look at my main wallet. I'm still holding all the tokens. And I mean, that's the grift. Doing it with tracked wallets versus having a big following of copy traders, it's all the same thing, or a big Twitter account. It's the exact same thing. I'm not ever going to do that. I have no interest in doing that. I only have one wallet for this stuff on FOMO, and I'm only going to buy stuff that is like the top fucking coins that are already like pretty established, and they're so big that, you know, look at the volume on this. There's, you know, almost 10 million, $7-8 million of volume here. Me dumping $40,000 worth or $10,000 worth doesn't do anything to the chart. Whereas if you're buying something down here and then it goes up a ton because I bought it, and then I dump 10% of the supply, it's going to rape the chart, and it's going to be at the expense of the people following me. And that's just not who I am. So that's how it works. If you still want to copy people, blah, 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 just know the game that you're playing. And it doesn't mean you can't make money, right? If someone's pushing some coin and it keeps going up and going up and going up, great. Just make sure you're taking profit along the way, right? Like, because eventually, when this thing eats shit and that person is cashing out their huge bag, their ill-gotten gains, you don't want to be the one getting your head dumped on. You can't add to an open position at breakout, but we already do. What the fuck is the term? Why is it eluding me? What's the term when you make multiple positions into one? Like combine. It's not, combine is not the word I'm thinking of. There's a term for it. I talked about it on a recent breakout video. I can't remember the fuck. Aggregate. We do aggregated positioning. So it's going to open up a bunch of trades, but you can press a button and it will just aggregate it into one line showing your average entry, and you can close it all as one trade. Yeah, the stream with Thread Guy was really good. Sorry, I had a brain fart there. Okay. As always, guys, if you want to support your boy, make sure you're following the Order Book Show on Twitter, please and thank you. It's just Order Book Show. We're getting close to 5,000 followers. I'd really love to hit 5K by the end of the month here, but we're seeing awesome growth, you know, across this right now, which I'm very happy with. Same thing on Instagram. We're creeping up towards 1,000 followers here. Lots of great clips. Ooh, people are pissed about my take on Kobe. Kobe was and is my number one. I grew up watching him. I don't like LeBron. I wasn't happy when he came to the Lakers. Well, people hate when you go after Kobe. People are mad. Yeah, people get very mad when you tell them Kobe's not good. But my entire point of this career, of this clip, is that I think people make Kobe out to be better than he was. Because he's dead now. And I love Kobe. Kobe's in my top 10 of all time. But objectively, Kobe is not better than Shaq. He's just not. Shaq was the best player on the team for all 3 of their championships. Like, it is what it is. But it's okay. People get very angry when you talk about Kobe negatively. And I love Kobe. I'm not trying to speak negatively about Kobe at all. I love Kobe. But yeah, follow the order book, please. And thank you. On Order Book Show on Instagram as well. It's very helpful. I really appreciate it. Make sure you're watching the market structure video and all the whiteboard videos here, okay? This is a series I've been working very hard on. There's 18 videos here. There's still about 12 or 13 more to come out. So we're more than halfway through. If you watch this entire series, all these trade ideas that I'm discussing, the way that I'm marking up the charts, you're going to be able to do all of that. And you're going to be able to take trades. There's no gatekeeping. There's no hidden upsell. I teach you exactly how to enter the market the exact way that I do. Like this is the exact entry model that I use on various different time frames. I teach you in this series, okay? So once you watch that, you're going to be able to figure it out. So real quick as well, I just want to give a shout out to Polymarket. Polymarket is now the official partner with ATP, so you can live stream and live trade tennis while watching it in the app itself. They got a lot of cool stuff coming out. Perps are coming soon. Well on their way to becoming the everything app. So shout out to Polymarket for supporting your boy and supporting your show, supporting the show. One of the reasons there's no private Telegram. I'm not DMing you begging for money. Well, it's because I'm rich, but it's also because I have awesome sponsors like Polymarket supporting the show. So if you want to help me, click the Polymarket link below 5,000 times and then deposit some money on there and have some fun. In the Haven, do the 5 of you give trade updates, prices to look out for? I share all of my trades in the Haven with stop entry targets. So do the other analysts. I mean, some of the other guys are cracked. Like Cold-Blooded Chiller in the Haven is cracked beyond belief. The guy's an animal. But I share my trades too. I hadn't traded that much this year. I think I've taken 20 trades in there, but I have like a 75% win rate. We've really done well this year. Okay. Oops. I always do this. So let's talk a little snooze. So Nebius, okay? Nebius, which again, why is this not in my list? I swear it deletes things. It deletes things. So Nebius had a massive earnings beat, right? And ripped, okay? AI cloud provider reported $575 million in AI revenue and a positively adjusted EBITDA of $236 million and 4 $1 billion plus contracts backed by customer prepayments. So they made a bunch of money, they profited a bunch of money, and they signed multiple $1 billion plus contracts with prepayments. All sounds pretty good. An employee highlighted tripled inference workloads, 5 gigawatt power targets, and software boosting efficiencies as the company shifts to prepaid infrastructure. So what does Michael Burry do? Well, he added to his Nebius short near 247 amid broader bets, while views split on real demand versus bubble risk, echoing the dot-com era. If AI is a bubble, you'll lose your savings. If AI isn't a bubble, you'll lose your jobs. Interesting take, but Michael Burry is shorting more. So Burry disclosed that he shorted at 212. So Michael Burry shorted at 212 on August 6th. Okay, so that is here. Okay, and then he shorted more now. So he shorted even more. He shorted even more now on Nebius, even though just after he shorted, they reported an earnings beat of 454 year-over-year revenue growth, and it reaffirms guidance. So the stock ripped 34% right after he shorted. He shorted, it went down a bit, smashed on earnings, and it ripped. And he still is saying that all of this is a bubble. He's double downing on his shorts. He shorted more Micron at 924. He thinks Palantir is only worth intrinsically $1. Okay, it's trading at $179, by the way, and it's pushing higher actually. So we were thinking maybe it comes down lower. It didn't. It's ripping. He thinks Palantir is worth $1. He's shorting Nebius. He's shorting Micron. He's shorting Oracle. He shorted Oracle at 152. It's up. He shorted Nebius at 212. It's up. And he continues to say that his thesis is that GPU depreciation is running faster than operators model. Coreweave signing A100 contracts through 2029 cuts directly against it. So here's the thing. Michael Burry is shorting pretty much the only market that seems to be doing well, right? So the only market that seems to be doing well, he is double downing on shorts. He's shorting Nvidia, Oracle, he's shorting Nebius. Like, he is short AI. He is consistently saying that, you know, all the stocks that everyone is buying, the AI trade is, you know, peaking. All of the signals are aligning, and he's adding to his short positions even as they continue to go up. Nebius is what the top of a boom looks like. Now, remember, it wasn't that long ago that everyone was hyped as fuck on Micron. They smashed earnings, and then it pulled back 50%. There's an argument to be made that there could be profit taking into earnings, but you kind of already had that here, right? We had a big earnings call, they smashed it, and then it retraced. Another big earnings call, smashed it. Maybe he's right, but he's confident that, you know, this is like Enron, the financing that Nvidia did. We talked about this last stream. $500 billion that they're getting from BlackRock, et cetera, where they're going to get their clients to then invest back in Nvidia. He says all the signs are here about, you know, compute pricing, whether the demand is realistic. And ultimately, I think the best argument is the expenses, right? How much these AI companies are spending versus what their revenue is. Is that a durable business model at these kind of extended, crazy prices? So Michael Burry has been right in the past, right? Michael Burry shorted the top of the stock market and the housing market in 2008, okay? And rightly so, JP says, you know what? A lot of people are talking about Michael Burry the same way that they were talking about him in, 2008. Everyone was making fun of him. They have a movie about it. Go watch it, The Big Short. Everyone thought he was crazy when he said the housing market is going to collapse. Everyone said he was crazy. They were making fun of him. Now he's saying AI is going to collapse, and everyone's calling him crazy and making fun of him. But here's the rub. Here's the interesting part is Michael Burry was early to this, okay? He was very early. So yes, a lot of people are mocking him right now, rightly so. And now he's doing the same thing with AI, and people are mocking him. But Burry started shorting the housing market in 2005, okay? 3 years before things collapsed. So he started shorting the U.S. housing subprime mortgage market by buying credit default swaps, CDSs, and his first deal was all the way back in 2005. And then over the years, he continued to build this. He started researching this in 2003, 2004. So this trade thesis and idea he had took years to play out. By the end of 2005, he had already a 750 million notional position. Now, on top of having this massive position, he actually had to pay $100 million in premium. So imagine this is a crypto trade. You think that Hyperliquid is going to go down, so you start shorting it. And it doesn't go down yet, but as you've shorted it, you have to pay funding on the position. So you're paying funding every day, every 24-hour period, as you hold this huge short. So it's costing you money, and you still haven't been proven right yet. Well, imagine this on a macro scale. He's now building this short over years, holding it, and the market kept performing, okay? The market kept performing. So he was underwater for roughly 2 years, and he had to pay $100 million in premiums. So this is a very good lesson in the market can stay irrational longer than maybe you can stay solvent. Luckily for him, by the end of 2006, he was down, 17, 18%. Plus he had to pay premiums, and the broader market was up 10%. So the fund had been up positive hundreds of percent since inception cumulatively. And by the end of 2006, the fund was actually down 17%. while the rest of the market rallied. And all along, he had to pay these ongoing premiums totaling up to $100 million, which was significant. It was up to 6 to 8% of the total AUM of the fund. So this continued, right? He was underwater from 2005, 2007. And then he had investors basically saying, hey, we want our money back. We want our money back. Get us out of here. So he actually had to shave down some of his position. But in late 2007, the trade started to pay off in his favor. And he ended up exiting personally for $100 million. So he ended up being right, but he was early. And he suffered for years of drawdown beforehand. So it's very fun to, clown on Michael Burry, who's been calling, the joke is he's called 500 of the last, 2 stock market corrections or whatever it is. However, with the last one, he was right. He was just early. And I don't necessarily disagree. I do think that this AI trade probably has to cool off some way, one way or another. But the problem is if you're too early, are you planning your risk accordingly? So if stuff does continue to squeeze, you don't get liquidated before the actual correction happens, because there was some risk perhaps in this situation where, maybe he was going to have to sell off some of his position. He wasn't going to be able to hold the entire position because investors were trying to redeem. So he did have to shrink the trade, but he never got margin called. It's kind of like Leopold, right? Leopold was right about AI, but he over leveraged. He had margin on 4x leverage, the market pulled back, and he wasn't able to survive the pullback. It's the inverse, right? Leopold was right, and he was early. He was not able to survive this. Even if the market's going to do this, and he ends up being right overall, he was not able to survive this drawdown. If Michael Burry's correct, and the market's about to do this, problem is if he's been shorting all the way here, is he able to handle if the market squeezes higher before actually proving him right? So it's going to be very interesting to see. He seems extremely confident. He's adding to his positions. It is nice that he has this side income. I always talk about having additional income makes you a better trader because you're not worried about trading for survival. Well, he has the largest paid group on the planet. So I think that's probably helping him cover his costs. If trading doesn't work out, if this trade keeps going higher, he's got 300,000 people in his paid group, and he can just keep adding margin to his account, and then maybe he can never get margin called. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I think a lot of people probably agree with some of his takes about the math getting crazy on some of this stuff. But if it continues to squeeze, is he going to be able to hang on to these positions? We'll see. He's been shorting basically the only market that's been going up. But yeah, interesting to watch. Shout out to Michael Burry. Does Michael Burry have a paid group? Yes, he does, bro. Michael Burry has a paid group, bro. He has the biggest paid group on the planet. So Polymarket says that the S&P made a record high, right? We all saw this today. And if you remember from last stream, I talked about them adding some higher targets here because I think they're necessary. If this continues how I think it should continue, I think 8,000, maybe even mid 8,000s going into the end of the year is definitely possible. 10,000 I think might be a stretch, but 8,000 seems like a certainty. No volume on this even yet, but we're so close to 8,000. Maybe that's why. But they've just added 8,000 was the highest on Tuesday. Now they've added up to 10,000, and this thing still looks pretty damn bullish. Also, something of note, the White House is going to host a crypto and prediction market group of execs next week. So they're going to gather executives from crypto, prediction markets, TradFi, one day before a related CFTC meeting. Details, likely attendees, and President Trump's involvement remain unclear, but the event aligns with the push for the Clarity Act, which has been pushed back until September, if I'm not mistaken, which seeks to clarify rules on distinguishing digital asset commodities from securities. So this is what we want to see. I do think we want to see the Clarity Act pass, but it seems like that's getting pushed back and back and back. So I don't know. Yeah, $50 paid Substack, 300K people in it. The boy's printing. I want to be like Michael Burry. I want my paid group to have 300,000 people paying me $50 a month. That would be sick. Maine, how did you manage balancing enjoying life and the present moment while also working and learning the skill? Should you do it in sprints, or what worked for you? Early on, I was a voracious learner and I did not have a healthy work-life balance at all. So I think as you become successful and get good at it, it's important to try and delineate and create a work-life balance so you can still enjoy life and still enjoy things. But early on, all I wanted to do was trade and try and make money, and that lasted a very long time. And it was very unhealthy. But for me, it paid off. It doesn't pay off for everyone. Would it have been better to have probably more structure and rigidity? I think so. I think a lot of people get caught up in this grind set culture. I got to be working all the time, nonstop, 24/7. That's not really true. But that's what I did, unfortunately, for many, many years. But I think trying to have a process that is repeatable and setting up a schedule and disconnecting yourself from the number on the screen and just focus on the process. Okay, what's my process? What am I doing? Am I learning? Am I using my time effectively? And then carving out time to, enjoy yourself. I think that's a good idea. So I'm sure everyone saw this. Trezor announces a data breach that exposed sensitive order data for cold wallets affecting over 11,000 customers. So this is just fucking brutal. All the stuff we talk about, not your keys, not your coins. You got to do self-custody. Crypto's about, freedom, and anonymity and having sovereignty over your money. And then the companies that we rely on to allow us to do self-custody end up leaking our information. So it wasn't Trezor on their own who leaked it. I believe it was the company in charge of the shipping of the actual units. But yeah, people who bought a Trezor in the last 90 days, check your email, because your name and address and phone number will likely be on the dark web now. So you are going to get spam emails. You're going to get phishing emails, phishing phone calls. People are going to try and scam you. If you live at the address that was your Trezor was shipped to, that means someone knows that you own a Trezor, which means you likely own crypto, and they know where you live. So that sucks. A piece of advice is when you're ordering this kind of stuff, never ship it to your house. Don't use your actual name. You don't actually have to fill out your name. Get a PO box, order it to a business, order it to your office. Use someone else's name. Okay? Don't order it to your house with your full name. That's something that you can do, but it's really unfortunate that this happened. I hate that this kind of stuff happens. Thanks, Miles G. If you send me 1 BTC, can you send me 10 back? Absolutely, my guy. I'm good for it. Yeah, so there's a lot of steps that you can take to avoid this kind of stuff, where if the data leak happens, the data that gets leaked, you don't need to put your real phone number in this shit ever. You can make up a phone number. But yeah, it sucks and it's very dangerous and it's really bad form from Trezor. It's fucking brutal. Ledger has done this. Coinbase has done this. It's really frustrating. I talked about this in the last stream. Self-custody is not necessarily for everyone. And unfortunately, when you do self-custody, stuff like this can happen. You don't do self-custody, FTX can happen. So it is really frustrating, but there's going to be rampant scam attempts and things like that because of this. And it's fucking brutal. So, if you were part of these 11,000 people, do what you can to protect yourself and learn from it next time. Fake phone number. Don't ship stuff to your house. Get it shipped to a business. Use a different name and just be careful, be smart. But, there's sites, not that I'm going to just shout out Kraken because they bought my company, but I trust Kraken more than I trust the average person to manage their own money. You know what I mean? But yeah, really, really unfortunate. One of the worst parts about being crypto. And what's even crazier is this happens right after Cold Card got exploited. So it's like, imagine you got exploited on Cold Card. You go, fuck this. I'm going to get a better cold wallet. I'm going to get a Trezor. And then they fucking leak your address to the dark web. Absolutely brutal. It sucks. But yeah, Shipmonk exposed full details, names, addresses, phone numbers, and emails for 11,000 buyers in the past 90 days and partial info for another 2,000, mainly in the US, UK, and Europe. Trezor confirmed its system and user wallets remain secure thanks to a strict 90-day data policy that limited the damage. In response, the company is fast-tracking anonymous delivery with nicknames, lockers, and plain packaging for the EU by September and the US by the end of the year. Crypto voices like Binance CZ highlights the risk of linking real identities to crypto holdings, urging vigilance against phishing. So if you were part of this data breach, you got to be very, 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 very careful checking your email and links. If someone emails you and it looks like an exchange, it looks familiar, make sure you're doing the stuff where you check the actual sender. Screenshot the email, put it into Claude. It will tell you this looks like phishing, right? Make sure the sending address is real. Careful with any links that you click. Yeah. I mean, Zach XBT wrote a thread. He's like, hardware wallets are stupid for most people. And he's fucking right. He's fucking right. And yeah, there's someone asked me, I think it was Dogboy, but what do you think about ETFs? Not your keys, not your coins, but ETF is held at the bank. You know, might be safer than a Trezor at this point. So brutal fucking stuff here. Counterparty risk is brutal. You know, I've been a victim of it because of FTX, right? I had counterparty risk. I had money on FTX. But yeah, just be very careful. Never type your seed phrase anywhere. Check all the links that you're getting. Just be very smart. Be very careful. Be very vigilant. You know, sucks. This is a very interesting story. So lab-grown diamonds are effectively a one-to-one of a real diamond. Like chemically, they are, you know, the exact same. Biologically, they're the exact same thing. The only way you can tell the difference between a lab-grown stone and a real diamond is if you take it to a jeweler who has a very special machine that can tell the difference between a lab-grown diamond and a regular diamond. But a diamond tester won't do it. But chemically, they are literally identical. And because of this, natural diamond prices have been going down. They're down 70% in the last 15 years and more than 50% in the last 4 years as lab-grown stones are cheaper, 70 to 80% cheaper. And they have captured up to 45% of US engagement rings, up 5% from 5% 2019. So in the last 7 years, 5% of people were using lab grown. Now almost half are using lab grown. So there's factors like oversupply, weak Chinese demand, US tariffs, luxury slowdown, field drop. That all matters. But this is a real thing, right? Like a lot of people are saying, you know what, I can get a diamond. It's chemically the same thing. It's 80% cheaper. And it hasn't come from, you know, Africa. It's not a blood diamond. You know, there was no, child labor. But I do think it's funny that some people will say, I would never buy a real diamond because I can get a lab grown one. And, you know, that means I'm a good person. But then they wear clothes and use an iPhone and wear Nike. That also was coming from horrific adverse conditions. Now, me personally, my diamonds come from the most horrific conditions on the planet. And that's why they shine so brightly, because they just come from these absolutely diabolically horrific situations. But I wish I knew this, or at least could convince my wife that lab-grown diamonds were just as good, because I think it's totally a marketing psyop. Like objectively, they're the same thing. If I would have bought my wife her engagement ring and told her it was real, she would never know. But I don't want to lie to my wife like that. And God forbid she gets it tested and is like, it's fucking lab. But I'm like, babe, I could have got you a way bigger ring if it was lab. But unfortunately, she's got a blood diamond. Shout out to Leo. Great movie. I'm from Rhodesia. Great film. But yeah, guys, if you're planning on getting married, remember, guys, the gay line is 60K. So right now, everyone watching this is straight. Even if you're actually gay in real life, because Bitcoin is above 60K, you're actually straight. I know you think you like boys, but you're actually straight because Bitcoin's over 60K. Now, if Bitcoin goes below 60K, even if you like girls, you're actually gay. So I don't make the rules. This is just, it is what it is. I mean, the gay line used to be 30K, guys, right? The gay line used to be 30K. And there was a period of time here, you know, there's a year and a half here where we were gay. You were gay. I was gay. We were all gay. Okay. But then price rallied above the gay line. It made new all-time highs. That's like you're getting, you know, multiple girlfriends in a wife time now. Wife changing money up there. Now the gay line is crept up. Inflation. It's not my fault. Inflation. The gay line is now at 60. If we go below 60, you're gay. I don't care what you say. You're gay. But right now, you're straight. So while you are straight, if you are thinking of getting married, maybe buy a lab-grown diamond. Save yourself a little money. Use that money to buy Bitcoin. Keep Bitcoin above the gay line. And then you've saved money. You own some Bitcoin. And your wife never has to know that you're actually gay. It's a win-win-win-win. It's a win-win-win-win. Everybody wins. The gay line has doubled since 2020. Inflation, dude. I don't make the rules. Talk to the president. I get these orders, bro. Ring, ring, ring. Yes, Mr. President. The gay line is moving from 30 to 60K. Are you sure? Understood. Thank you. That's how it goes. There's nothing I can do about it. I am not in control of these things. I am simply a conduit. Okay? Trump called me. Netanyahu's calling me. Mark Carney. That bitch who's in charge of the EU who looks like a supervillain. Carl Schwab. All of the big timers, the elites, Soros, Bill Gates, they're all hitting your boy up. We're in a group text. And every day I just get updates. Gay line here. Maybe they move it down, right? Maybe the economy turns around. They say, listen, we got to move the gay line down. There's too many gays. I'm not in control of this. I am simply a conduit. I communicate it to you. The gay line is 60K. So we're not gay for now. But things can change. Okay? Things can change. This is pretty nuts. So this guy made $7,400 on betting on when Speed and Kai beat all 4 Minecraft bosses in their fucking thing. So they did this thing where it's like, we're going to play Minecraft nonstop until we beat all 4 bosses on hardcore mode, meaning if you die, you restart. Okay? I don't really fuck with Minecraft. I think I'm too old. I've tried playing it. I don't really get it. But I think that this is like a microcosm of society. And I've talked about this a ton in prior streams, right? Like we've discussed this like a bunch. It's this idea that we're heading towards like this hyper gambleization of the world. Perps for everything. Soon you're going to be able to, you know, bet on a perp of your fucking friends. Perp of people. You think Elon Musk is top? Don't short Tesla. You can short Elon, right? This is like second layer gambling. So first and I always thought this was weird too with like watching. I'm old enough that like I think watching other people play video games is strange, but it's a huge business. It's a massive business. Watching other people play a game. Why not play the game yourself? That's how old I am. But now, not only are you watching other people play a video game, you're like, how the fuck can we bet on this shit? That's where we are as a society. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. Like I said, we dissected off of the sacred timeline back in 2016. Sacred timeline, bro. We're going here. We're living in a futuristic, you know, solar system level economy at this point. You got flying cars. People live forever. Cancer's cured. You know, smoking's fucking cool again because cancer's cured. That's where we were. 2016, we're over here. Now you're betting on 2 streamers playing Minecraft in front of like 200,000 people. That's where we are. Nothing we can do about it. Nothing we can do about it. I can't even imagine the stuff you're going to be able to bet on once GTA 6 comes out. It's going to be nuts. But yeah, I mean, 5 days to fucking do this. I don't know. Is this hard? 42 deaths. Like, is this hard to do? I genuinely don't know. This is the kind of stuff old people like me, this Rube Goldberg machines, you'd bet on shit like this. How fast is the penny going to make it to the bottom? Where's it going to land? This is how old I am. A plumber's paradise, exactly. Like, I remember this shit. I remember this shit. Oh my God. We had a solar eclipse yesterday in Europe. This might be one of the coolest clips I've ever seen.
No pare, no pare, no pare, no pare, sigue, sigue, no pare, no pare, por Dios. ¡Oh! ¡Dios! ¡Oh!
That legitimately might be one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Like, we're gambling on people playing Minecraft, and we're literally having a cosmological event occur, and these people have the forethought and the wherewithal to be like, we can make an unbelievable fucking video of this. This is so fucking much. This is so much cooler than anything that's going on chain. So my only question is, how the fuck do I gamble on this? How could I gamble if maybe he bailed? What that would have looked like? Because you don't have very long for this. This is like a once in a lifetime type of shot, man. Pretty fucking incredible. That's super cool. Now, something that we can do, if we can find a bald black man, I'm taking applications. We can recreate this solar eclipse right now. I fucking love the internet, bro. I fucking love the internet. Last but not least, guys, Elon Musk kind of jokingly tweeting after a Babylon Bee, fake article about him acquiring the United Kingdom to free them from their kind of communist dictator-like freedom of speech laws, basically saying, hey, how much would it cost? Because he did that with Twitter. If you don't remember, someone's like, you just buy Twitter. And he's like, how much? Bet. And then he bought it. And now he's saying, hey, how much to buy the UK? Like, how much to buy the UK? It was a joke, and he kind of just like laid into it. Like, literally, how much is it? Is fucking hilarious. Imagine Elon bought the United Kingdom. And what's the United Kingdom worth anyways? Like fucking some beans and toast. But someone made this, and this is the richest person on the planet. And this is what he's posting. I'm just saying, we could have had flying cars by now. Instead, we have this. Instead, we have this. So that's where I'm going to end it, guys. If you like the streams, you want to support your boy, click those Polymarket links below. Use code MAIN when you're trading at Breakout for a little discount. I'll be back on Tuesday. New whiteboard series video coming out Monday. Make sure you watch that. I'll talk to y'all.